Welcome to Lunchroom Debates, where we are shorthanded today, but I do have my co-host Owen with me. Owen, how you doing today?
I'm doing good for a Monday at least. That's all I can say.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's been one of those days, huh?
It really has. Man, Debo was out writing an essay instead of recording the pod, but I guess good on him being studious. Can't hate the man.
Debo writing an essay. He's suspended. He's suspended from Lunchroom Debates. I heard.
Oh, is that right?
I heard he got in a physical altercation with Tyler Elliott after last episode, and as a result, Lunchroom Debates had to suspend him for one podcast. That's just rumor on the street, though.
Yeah. My sources are telling me he's writing an essay. So I don't
Uh,
know what this fake beef's about.
I got Shams and Woj as my sources.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. That's
What a
fair. You were
goof.
telling me earlier today that you and Jake were balling up on some people in Idaho Springs, though.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny, bro. Cause like we were just up there. We were going with my neighbors, or my dad's neighbors rather. They just wanted to go. They have a little. I think he's probably like 8 or 9 year old, and so I asked if Jake and I wanted to go play. We were like, yeah, sure. And then these two guys pulled up, and Jake was like, "You want to see if they want to run?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm down." But we're in just like street clothes, not no hooping
Mm-hmm.
shoes or anything. We were just there to just have a little bit of fun with the neighbors, and
Mm-hmm.
so we ended up playing them. And yeah, we beat them 15-2. These poor guys, they had no idea.
You pulled up. You pulled up in my drip. No, no twos, just tennis shoes,
Yeah, just
shorts,
tennis shoes,
short
some
socks.
shorts, and a hoodie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in ankle
yeah,
socks. Yeah,
yeah. That's my drip on the court.
yeah, it was pretty
um,
wild.
no,
But yeah,
but with all due respect, you're lucky I wasn't playing for the neighbors. Let's just keep it above.
nah, it wasn't the neighbors, man. It was just these random pedestrians of Idaho Springs.
How far is Idaho Springs from here, from our part of
From
the town?
it's like 45, 50 minutes.
Okay, okay.
It's
Because
not bad.
yeah, I didn't think it's too
It's
far.
not too far.
I didn't think it's too far. I had to ask you. I had to ask you. Is Greeley past Fort Collins or before Fort Collins?
Uh, it's like directly east of Fort Collins.
Okay, okay.
So,
Because if I ever come up, I have to stop at Greeley. I have to
oh
stop at
yeah,
Greeley.
you know
I
some
got
people up
that.
there.
Well, no, my barber moved up there.
Oh, he moved up
Uh,
there.
Unfortunately, and so I haven't got a
Yeah,
cut yet. It is a little longer than I try to keep it. So if I ever come up, I have to get a cut because
I
that
see.
boy Jordan, that boy Jordan knows what he's doing with the
He gets you
scissors.
right.
He do. uh, but with that being said, you want to get into the episode?
Yeah, the main subject of this is the Houston Rockets hiring Ime Udoka as their new head coach. What a
I
hire!
love it. I
Yeah, what a
love it.
hire!
I love it. Um, the Boston Celtics have been phenomenal this season. Damn near looking like the best team in the league as of right now,
That's right,
and yet they still look worse than they did last year. And the
indeed.
only reason I can think of is that Ime Udoka is gone. And I'm a big fan of Joe Mazzulla. I'm a fan of Mazzulla ball and the system that he's running. But the defense that was implemented under Ime and the execution from the two stars with Ime, it was beautiful. And it's
It
why the Celtics
was.
had so much success last year. So I'm a really big fan of this hire.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get the culture in Houston right.
Oh, for sure.
It was just like you could easily tell that the players were not respecting Steven Silas. He just had no control over that team. Email will get that
Hmm.
under control, have them playing with more of a sense of pride, passion, ha- have them winning games for once. So
Yeah. No, I mean, you hit it on the head with the culture thing because we've seen since Steven Silas has been in charge or coaching the Rockets, like Christian Wood has had altercations where I think it was reported he got in either like an actual fight or a yelling match with one of the assistants. Obviously, KPJ has been suspended from the team and he was put in the G League because of a similar situation. And then even John Wall went onto a podcast this year and was talking about all the dysfunctionality within the Rockets organization. So I think to get a guy of Ime Udoka's status to come in and to mentor this young talent that you have with Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, and whoever you get this year from the draft, I think is huge for them. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and he'll for sure improve their defense. I knew Houston was kind of lacking in that aspect for sure. They're definitely more of a we'll see what we can get on offense. Hope that's better than what we can produce on defense and have that win us games rather than playing a good, well-rounded both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This draft lottery is huge for them because
it is.
If they get Wemby, come on now. I mean, they already have an enticing young core. They have an exciting young core with Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith. He struggled his rookie year, but the last couple months he showed flashes of why he was the third overall pick. So I think that at least you saw some flashes, so you're okay moving with that in the future. Jalen Green might be the most mixed player in the NBA, whether you like it or not, but I think either way he'll improve from this coaching change. But if they get Wemby, if they get Scoot Henderson, I mean, that just accelerates the rebuild so much for them.
Indeed. I'll ask you this, though. Do you think if they do end up landing Wemby, would they run Şengün and Wemby together?
Oh, for sure. For sure, because I think that I do think that they will, and I think it's because Wemby is so versatile that he can play the 4 or the 5. I think that his shooting, coupled with his shooting ability, because we've seen him just hitting threes, step back threes at his size, which is ridiculous. And I also think that Alperen Şengün's playmaking ability will open the court for Wemby. Now, obviously, I think that if Wemby gets drafted, no matter where he gets drafted, he's gonna be playmaking and carrying the ball a lot. He's just gonna have the ball in his hands a lot because he's probably the best prospect we've seen since LeBron. I mean, that's what everybody's saying. It's probably true.
Yeah.
Like the man is built like a demigod. So he's gonna have majority of the ball. But if you have a guy like Alperen Şengün who's directing traffic and still making plays for you, I think it'll help a lot.
Yeah, I think that could be very nice. Yeah, he gets drafted there. Ime won't mess around with him either. He'll make sure he's gonna be as successful as he can possibly be with that 2K cheat code build.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun thing to watch if it happens.
For sure. But I also think part of why he'll start is just the defense for the team, right? Because as much as I like, and I know you like Alperen Şengün quite a bit.
Yes.
He isn't the best defensive center.
No.
If you can have a 7 whatever, what was Wemby? Was he 7'3", 7'4"?
Dude, he's like, it's like he's listed at 7'3", but he's definitely taller than that.
He's huge.
Because I mean, yeah, you see him next to Rudy Gobert. Gobert's 7'2", and he's at least 3 inches taller than Rudy Gobert is.
Yeah,
so
I remember seeing that photo.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But you'll have Alperen Şengün who has struggled defensively, but you'll have Wemby who has this incredible size and length with his potential, and he's already dominating. I think he had like a 7-block game earlier this year against Scoot Henderson. So
yeah.
I think that they will play just because I think they complement each other both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be such a disaster like what Minnesota's got with Cat and Rudy Gobert in there. Because I was talking about it earlier, how they just like have the two extremes. Because Cat's pretty good on offense, but his defense is subpar to say the least. Mm-hmm. But then Rudy Gobert, he is the biggest offensive liability in the league, and then his defense is pretty good, 3-time DPOY, right? But whereas
it's not been great this year, though.
It hasn't been great, but he has a resume for sure.
For sure.
But now you look at if you're running a 2-big lineup like Houston would be if they do happen to land Wemby, you'd have both players being good on offense. Then now you add that defensive threat in there that could just block any shot that comes in.
Yeah. No, I agree. The Timberwolves thing is an interesting thing you bring up. I don't know if this is the start or an end of an era, right? Because the Twin Towers didn't start with the Timberwolves. It started with the Cavs. The Cavs last season,
dude, they had like the triple towers, dude.
They had Lowry Markkanen, they had Evan Mobley, and they had Jared Allen.
Yeah, that was
And
ridiculous.
right. And this season they obviously still have two of those guys with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So far in the playoffs, it hasn't looked good because the Knicks are up 3-1. But I would keep that. I would keep that duel just because they're young. I think the Cavs project to be a very good team in the future. They
Oh,
might just
absolutely.
be they might just be 1 year away. I think that the Celtics double bigs with Al Horford and Robert Williams has looked solid. I think the Timberwolves is honestly a rare case. It's almost an outlier of the double bigs not working.
But I mean, it's not hard to see why though, with that two
Yeah,
extremes like I was talking about, you know. And well,
yeah.
it's funny because Cat, as good of an offensive player as he seems hesitant to use his size. I mean, a lot of his game is just spot up, shoot threes. He'll catch the ball sometimes in transition and then just stop and shoot a three, right?
But but I also think it's more so just like the fit because it's like one Carl Anthony Towns already has his deficiencies on on the defensive end of the court, and
Yeah,
then Rudy Gobert, he's a great defender, but he's not doing anything on defense outside of the paint. And I mean, that's well known. He's an elite rim protector, but he's not guarding ones, twos, or threes like an Evan Mobley can or like a Robert Williams, Al Horford can. So I think that in that sense, it's like they had two guys who really are at least Rudy Gobert isn't an impactful player outside of the paint on both sides of the court. And then
hmm
Cat really just isn't impactful on the defensive end of the court. And I think that's why it's been so uncertain for the Timberwolves this season and so underwhelming.
yeah. They're just having to rely so much on Anthony Edwards instead, which is, I mean, they obviously went all in on getting Rudy Gobert in hopes that running that big combo would be their what's the term, like saving grace when it comes down to crunch time. They need to score, they need to play defense, and it just hasn't worked.
Do you
But
think
yeah,
Cat is gone this offseason?
I hope so for the Timberwolves franchise. They it's through these playoffs we're seeing that Ant is definitely the number one option. I
Oh,
mean,
it's
he
been
is.
known. Been known.
Yeah, but there were people that were hesitant, and now I don't think there's any questions left on the table.
True.
So now
True.
I think, and this is something I've been pretty keen on. I think they could keep Rudy, but I think you should run a player like Nas Reed instead of Cat, because I think Nas Reed has a lot of potential. He's
Mhm.
long, athletic. He's pretty coordinated, unlike Rudy. He can
Mhm.
shoot. I mean,
Yeah.
you get him slashing to the basket. He can just jump. I mean, you've seen some mean posters. He can just continue doing that. Especially, I mean, he's what, only 23, I believe. He'll get more and more crafty with finishing around the rim too. I think he could be a little mini Giannis.
I think he's a free agent this offseason. And
Yeah, so it's if they can keep him.
something tells me he's not going to stay. Especially if Rudy and Cat return, because there's no reason
But
he
that's the
should be
thing. If
getting
they
those kind
if
of
they
minutes.
trade Cat and could manage to keep Nas Reed, I think that's what their best route would be.
What team do you think would be interested in Cat, and what kind of package are the Timberwolves getting for Cat? Because obviously, you gave up a huge package for Rudy Gobert. What was it like? It was 4 key
Dude, they
rotational
gave up
players,
like as much
four
as the
first round
Suns gave up for
picks.
KD.
They give him more. They give him
They
more.
gave they did give him more.
But whatever player trading Rudy or Cat, you're not getting that same package.
No, absolutely
But
not.
you're getting a much bigger package, a much better package for Cat than you will for Rudy, especially right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So, so one, what type of package do you think you're getting for Cat, and then two, what team do you think would be interested in him?
You could. There's a couple packages I could see. You could get a quality starter and 2 firsts, or you could
Mhm.
just go straight up get star for star. But I don't know which team would be willing to give up their star just to have another star come in, especially if they already have a solid player at the center position. But I mean, a
I
team
mean
I could.
The Mavericks interest me, but their defense with Luca, I mean, their
Oh, it
defense
would be
already looks so
disastrous.
bad. I know, but it's like you have the spacing with Cat then, because Cat's an elite 3-point shooter for a center. So if you have that spacing with Luca, that looks pretty good. But then on the defensive side, it looks the complete opposite of good.
Yeah,
Um,
I could almost see him going to the Hawks.
The Pelicans doesn't sound bad to me. I don't know what that package is. It would have to be CJ. It
Yeah,
have to be CJ and somebody else. But if you get the spacing of Rudy with the force of the shooting of Cat with the force of Zion, doesn't sound bad.
it does
Doesn't
not.
sound bad. Doesn't sound bad.
No, I think, like I said a little earlier, I said the Hawks. I could see that because, I mean, if they're running Clint Capella in there, would they rather have Cat as another offensive threat? Obviously, you're going to lose a little bit of defense, but I think that would just bring so much more offensive firepower in. But I wouldn't know what the trade package would be for that. You could do DeAndre Hunter and a couple bench players and maybe a second?
It would. Well, first it would have to have John Collins. That relationship between John Collins and Atlanta is over. It's
okay,
over.
Fair.
It's over. Just 3 years in a row of him being in trade talks at the trade deadline, underperforming in the playoffs. It's over. It's over. So I think it has to be John Collins.
Okay.
DeAndre Hunter. If I'm Atlanta, I would like to keep him. But
That's if they would be willing to give DeAndre Hunter up because he's been very solid for them.
Yeah, I wonder if they have to throw in a guy like AJ Griffin. I mean, AJ Griffin probably looks like. I mean, he's been obviously their best rookie this season, and he looks like a high potential guy. I wonder if the Atlanta Hawks would part ways with him for Cat because I don't know. I don't think they're getting both DeAndre Hunter and AJ Griffin. I think it's one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, so if Cat ended up going to the Hawks, I think that could breathe a little bit more life into the franchise instead of being their play-in spot how they were this year. I think they could be a 4, 5, or a 6 seed instead, and maybe cause some damage in the playoffs with the Trae Young Cat duo.
But it's like I have the standings pulled up right now. There just doesn't seem like there's a lot of teams, right? The Bucks have a DPOY center and Brook Lopez. Not gonna do it. Celtics, they have
There's no need to.
depth. Yeah. Sixers have Embiid. Doesn't make sense. Cavs already have their front court. The Knicks, I don't really like that fit. I mean, the way Mitchell Robinson is playing, I'd rather keep him. The Nets is an interesting one because they have all the picks from KD, but it's like
they've got Claxton. Something building in Clax,
Yeah, they have Claxton. The Hawks, sure. The Heat's an interesting one.
The Heat is because Bam's kind of been slacking a little bit.
Bam's on the hot seat, and I know Tyler Elliott, Miami Heat resident on our channel. He's very adamant that Bam is not safe, and that if there's a trade, it's going to be Bam and not Tyler Hero.
Dude, that would be interesting to pair with Jimmy.
So what are you rolling out with? Then you have Kyle Lowry. You have Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, whoever is there for nowadays, which is lately it's either been Max Strus or Caleb Martin.
Yeah, they're rolling out plenty of lineups with their injury struggles.
And then Cat. Which I don't know. I
don't know. It just kind of brings in that defensive question again. Because like Jimmy's obviously a great defender, but for the rest of them,
they're a team to me that's. I think that he are going to try to sign like a Grant Williams.
Yeah.
Because they desperately need a 4. Desperately need a 4 because, as we mentioned, they have either Max Strus or Caleb Martin, which are less than ideal.
They're undersized.
Grant Williams would play a similar role to PJ Tucker on this team. Yeah. And we saw last year, this is the same exact roster minus PJ Tucker, and this roster was a 1 seed last year. So I think the Heat are going to make an offer for
dude. Yeah,
I think they're going to be aggressive.
I could see the Heat making some big old moves in the offseason.
But if they get Grant Williams,
could be in that.
Yeah, Bam could be in that. Dame could be in that. Is if he requests that.
Oh, dude, I don't think so.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think so.
It's keeping Heat fans up at night.
Absolutely.
But if we go on Chicago, I don't think Chicago is going to do it. Toronto, I think they're going to head towards a rebuild. Maybe the Wizards. I mean,
would that make the Wizards any better though?
But what if they trade? Because Bradley Beal talked about his frustrations. What if Bradley Beal, Rudy Gobert swap? So now Now the Timberwolves have Mike Conley.
You would run
Bradley Beal.
and Bradley Beal together?
Yep. Because Ant's low-key big. Ant's like 6'9", 6'10". He can
No,
run.
he's not. He's
Dude,
6'6".
No, he is not 6'6".
Swear.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He looks massive on the court.
He's 6'4" listed on Google.
Anthony Edwards is not 6'4".
Dude, that's
No
what I'm saying.
way.
6'6".
Is he actually listed as 6'4"?
That's what it says. See, I don't think he's as big as you think he is. He's bigger on the guard end.
But no way. He's like the same height. He was literally the same height as like Aaron Gordon last night.
No.
I swear.
If he was the same height as Aaron Gordon, he wouldn't just be able to blow right past him.
No. I mean, he is explosive.
For sure, but Aaron Gordon is as well.
But even, I mean, wasn't Am playing the 3 his rookie year? Because his rookie year, they had D'Lo and Malik Beasley starting, I think. And then they had – no. Not even rookie year. Last year, I think that they had Malik Beasley starting with D'Angelo Russell in the backcourt. No. Sorry, scratch that. They had Pat Bev and D'Lo starting.
That interesting.
They had Pat Bev, so they had Ant at the 3. So they already have been playing like that. So I think if you go with Mike Conley, Bradley Beal, Anthony Edwards, whoever at the 4, and then I assume it's going to be Rudy Gobert at the 5.
I thought you said trade Rudy for Bradley Beal straight up. I was like, wait, what?
No, Cat. Trade Cat.
You misspoke as Cat, for sure. That could be interesting.
I think that's. I don't want to say that's the best package, but I think that's like a realistic package that they could go in for. Because even in the West, there's not a lot of teams.
There really isn't.
Unless the Grizzlies want to upgrade, but I don't know how good they look on defense.
No, but what if Cat goes to Portland?
I don't want to see him in Portland.
But that doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
Him in Portland is not going to win shit. Him in Portland's not going to win shit because it's just another center who can't defend with another 2 perimeter guards and Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard who can't defend.
Yeah, except he's way better on offense than Nurk.
Sure, but I mean, he's going to score 20 and give up 21 on the other end of the court.
Jokic.
I don't know. The Timberwolves, the Blazers got stuff to worry about offseason wise though, because they got to re-sign Jeremy Grant.
True.
That's a big question mark because if you're not if Jeremy Grant's on the team, no way. If Jeremy Grant is not on the team, no way I'm trading for Cat.
Yeah. No defense.
No defense.
No defense.
The Clippers. I think the Clippers. Can I say something while we're on here? Since this is kind of just a free talk at this point.
Yeah.
I think the Clippers are rebuilding after this year. I think they're blowing it up.
Because do you think that's the fault of just no one able to stay healthy? That's just not a good lineup because of that. Yes. They are dangerous when they're healthy.
No, yes, and that's why I picked them in the preseason to make it out the West. I just when you have these 2 stars and they've been together for 4 years, which in the NBA, keeping 2 stars together for 4 years is a big sample size. True. And the fact that they couldn't put one healthy season together, I think it just warrants a restart. And I also think that this might be I don't think it's like, how do I phrase this? I think this might be the best way to get the most value out of Kawhi and PG. Because I don't know what their contract situation looks like. But the longer you keep them on a contract, the less incentivized the team is to trade for them. Because if I'm only guaranteed 1 year of Kawhi, he could leave right after like he did for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And that Toronto's Raptor run where he had one of the craziest playoff runs of all time is not guaranteed. So I think their value goes down the more you keep them on the roster. And I just think it's been too redundant with the injuries to say like, oh, we can keep running it back because we haven't seen anything change from year 1 to year 4. They still get injured. They still are a big question mark. They still don't play in the regular season. And it's like, the same questions we had day one of this, we have day 1,000.
Yeah, it's how long can you tolerate it, right?
Exactly. So I mean, I think they'll rebuild, uh, especially if they lose. I think they play tomorrow. I think they play tomorrow. But losing in five without, I mean, you looked good and then Kawhi goes out. Obviously, PG was already out for the whole round. Like it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's a tough scene for sure. But
Shout out to Russ. He's hooping.
He is the Russ resurgence. Yeah, you want to segue into the next conversation?
Yeah.
We went from Rockets to T-Wolves to Clippers, and now kind of on the topic of LA, we got Dillon Brooks. Obviously, that's Memphis, but they're playing LA. Dillon Brooks he's being a goof. I mean, I would use stronger language, but that's not me. But God, he's trying to play the victim now.
Do you
after
have the quote
everything he said?
Do you have the quote?
He said, "I feel the media is making me a villain." Oh,
tell me your thoughts.
that pisses me off. It pisses me off. How are you not going to expect that to happen after every bold statement you've said in the past 2 weeks? Like that's just ridiculous. Not even 2 weeks.
Just the whole year.
Yeah, if you want to talk about just the entire year for sure. Everything he's been doing is just it's been idiotic to say the least. And then now to come out and not expect any sort of what's the term? Like, gosh, what am I looking for?
Punishment.
Yeah,
fine.
Any sort of
repercussion.
Repercussion. That's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Any repercussion to not come out of that. I just think he's so dumb. That's just what the term is for it. He's just dumb. Like, I don't know what you were expecting. That pisses me off.
The man's done just so many countless things this year. From when he was calling Draymond Green's podcast, he was like he can go run to his little blog. When he was just getting chirpy with Draymond, when Kyrie and Luka were out, and he was like, "Oh, they're ducking me. They know I'm the best defender in the league," or calling LeBron old and washed and all this stuff. Like the man, or punching Donovan Mitchell in an injured groin. Like the man has just done it on himself. The man has just done it on himself. I don't know. I don't know what you thought. I didn't think he deserved to get ejected for the punch. I honestly didn't think it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean that it was a risky play to go for a steal between LeBron's legs. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you would think that that's a good idea, but I guess if you're thinking you're a defender like Dillon Brooks is, that you could do anything. But he ended up touching the crown jewels, and he got punished for it.
No, but I mean, even because you remember watching the Thunder Pelicans play-in?
Yeah.
You remember Josh Richardson literally did the exact same thing.
He did.
He hit Josh Giddey below the belt while Josh Giddey was bringing it up court, still in his own back half court. And all he got was, I think it was just a tech, which I think is the right call in that play. But it's like because Dillon Brooks is the villain, he does have this history, as they said for Draymond. He did get ejected. I'm not a fan of the ejection, but the villain thing is just on Dillon Brooks.
It just comes back to what were you expecting? You brought it on yourself, and I do think it's funny because it is starting to take the same path to Draymond, where Draymond, after he got ejected and suspended, he was like, "Oh yeah, I got a flagrant 2 for something I did 7 years ago."
I thought
that was funny, and so it's like similar thing for Dillon Brooks, but obviously not to the extent of Draymond because he hasn't been around as long as Draymond.
Or successful.
Yeah, literally. But he's just so much talk, and obviously he's a pretty solid defender, but his offensive game is lackluster to say the least. Averaging in these playoffs 11, 2 and 2. I mean, I don't know about that, especially if you're going to talk how you do.
No, but I think I know we both like per sources a lot here.
Yeah.
I saw Per Sources had a funny post. It was like Dylan Brooks shot like 4 of 13, and he posted a video of one of the misses. He's like, Dylan Brooks be talking way too much to be playing like he does.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like he posted like it was like a turnaround fadeaway, and it just only hit backboard.
Only hit backboard.
It like you can't be talking that much with not a lot to back it up, and then continue to talk, and then now you're obviously playing the victim. That's just it pisses me off. I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. But man, it's just dumb.
Respect greatness.
Meanwhile,
Respect greatness.
yeah, and talking about greatness, LeBron's averaging 25, 11, and 4 in this series at 38. And a lot of the times Dylan Brooks has been on him.
No. And then the one thing I'm happy LeBron didn't do was go for 40. And that I'm happy he didn't do that because that's not LeBron's game. LeBron has never been a dude
No.
like, he's never been a dude who's like, I'm going to pound the rock, I'm going to post up every time, and I'm going to get mine. LeBron has always been a guy who, I mean, sometimes to his own fault, as we saw in the bubble with Danny Green. He's always been the guy to just make the right basketball play, whether that's hitting an open teammate or it is posting up. But LeBron is somebody who will always make the right.
Yeah, LeBron's too smart for him to take something like that personally.
What did you think about the interaction between them pre-game when LeBron went up? Didn't cover the mouth.
Didn't cover the mouth or anything.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
I don't know. I think it's being exaggerated by the media a little too much. It's like, oh, he didn't cover his mouth. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's like you knew it was coming. LeBron, he's obviously he can talk in the post game and pre-game media all he wants about how, oh, I'm just gonna go out and play my game of basketball, not let it get to me. But I mean, were you expecting him to not give at least Dylan Brooks something? I mean, come on.
No, I'm surprised that LeBron talked to him pregame. I'll say that.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting Brown to do that because, I mean, even with the Lance Stevenson, I don't think LeBron ever talked to him pregame.
LeBron just is a goof.
Lance Stevenson was actually like a good heel. He was a good bad guy. Like, yeah. He was entertaining. He was a heel that the NBA wanted and needed. Dylan Brooks is just like, he's so corny. So corny.
Dude, yeah. You want to talk? This is something that we left out. How's Dylan Brooks gonna knock over that cameraman and then not help him up, and then proceed to make remarks about the cameraman? Oh, dude, it's just.
I remember, pushing him over.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's just money. Like when he got fined, like $270K. Oh, it's just money. Like, right, you don't care about the cameraman's health? Like, come on. Like he's just there doing his job.
Yeah. I will say this though. If I'm Dylan Brooks and I'm his agent, I'm happy. Because 100%, bro. We have never talked about Dylan.
No publicity is bad publicity.
That we have in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll probably make another reel on what we just talked about, but it's like if Dylan Brooks did not yap, how many reels would we have on him?
Oh,
not a lot. Not a lot.
We wouldn't have. Here, I'll tell you, we wouldn't have any because his gameplay isn't enough to warrant us to talk about him.
We might bring him up in the conversation of decent defenders, of good defenders, but outside of that, it's like nah.
And that could be a stretch anyway.
He's a good defender. He's not who he thinks he is on the defense. He thinks he's like the best defender, all defense. He's not that.
Yeah, he thinks he's like the next coming of Jesus on the defense.
He's not a good defender. He's not that though.
He's not the great defender he thinks he is for sure.
No, he's not. But he's solid.
All right, well, publicity out of the way. Should we stop talking about him? Stop giving him what he wants, or what his agent wants? Right. We got a slew of injuries coming out for this first round, or the back half of this first round of the playoffs. The first one, the major one, being De'Aaron Fox breaking his finger. That series is tied 2-2. And I don't know if the Kings are going to win again.
Nope, they said he's doubtful for Game 5. I assume he's not going to play in Game 5. We'll see about Game 6, but even that I doubt, especially just because it is on his shooting hand. So that makes it twice as impactful. But either way, I have Warriors in 6.
Yeah,
Either way, I have
for
Warriors in
sure.
6.
Warriors, they just needed some time to get it figured out. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's it. And now, especially what I've been saying the whole time, they needed to figure out a way to steal one in Sacramento. And now here, the door has opened for them now that Fox is out. They're going back to Sacramento. They're playing with a team that doesn't have their number one option. And I think they're going to come out swinging. They know they got to capitalize on it.
It's also not just their number one option. It's also their the best player on either team in the fourth quarter. De'Aaron
Oh, for
Fox
sure.
has taken over in the fourth quarters. We saw in game 2, before the Draymond injury, and even after, where he carried them. Game 1, obviously carried them, and in game 3, they almost made a comeback thanks to Steph Curry calling a horrible timeout when they didn't have any timeouts left.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a huge loss because he's been their best player. I'd argue that he's been the best player in the series. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
what's
he's
he
averaging close to 32, 6, and 7.
Yeah, just
I mean
phenomenal
that's nothing
numbers,
to sneeze at.
and he's doing a lot of that work in the clutch time in the fourth quarter. And I mean, those 2 wins in Sacramento. You said that the Warriors needed to take games. Those both could have been Warrior games, and he delivered and made sure that
He
second time
prevented
won.
it. Yeah,
He made sure that beam was lit.
he did. He did. Yeah,
But
it's a huge impact of that injury, and it sucks. I've got a friend up here at CSU who's from Sacramento, so I've been talking to him the whole time about the Kings series, and even my cousin, he's from Sacramento too, so he's been looking forward to watching them succeed in the playoffs, and it's just kind of it's like a throat punch, dude. Just sucks.
it is. But the silver lining is this: Malik Monk has been phenomenal off the bench. Davion Mitchell has given them really, really good minutes off the bench that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. And on top of that, you have a great coach with Mike Brown. So
Yep.
if there's a team that could figure it out, it is the Kings. Obviously, the home crowd will rally and
Get them
help
going.
them as much as they can. But we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
I mean, I think a story you should look for is how's Sabonis going to react to this? Is he going to up his level of play enough to have them winning? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, me and you, I think, have both talked about Sabonis should have been in MVP talks more than he was.
No, I didn't say MVP
No,
talks. I didn't say MVP talks. I mentioned
I
that has
think
been an MVP.
no. I think he's a top 7 MVP candidate personally.
Top 7. I disagree.
Okay,
You got
and
the
that's
Lakers.
fine.
Are we doing it or no?
No, I mean, there's so
We don't
many.
got it. We don't got
The
it.
level of talent in this league is insane. I think
We
it's
don't got it.
too tough to name them all. But I
But
mean, can Sabonis play at that level that he needs to?
he's been disappointing this series. I'll say that. I'll say
Unfortunately,
that. He has, and it's because he has 2 great defenders. Obviously, all-world defender Draymond, and then Kevon Looney, who's very underrated. Speaking of Draymond, I am interested to see whether or not he's going to keep coming off the bench for them.
yeah,
It
that was
was
interesting.
it was his idea. He told it today on the Draymond Green show. He was talking about how it was his idea because in Game 4 on 420, Looney dropped a 4.20 rebound game, and right after Draymond went up to Steve Kerr's office and said, "Hey, if you need me to come off the bench, I will." And it looked good. It looked good. They got off to a hot start. The Kings, as they do in the fourth quarter, make things close. But in the end of the day, you got the win. So I wonder if they'll keep it that way.
There's some interesting stories to look out for sure with this series. The biggest thing is that it sucks for the Kings. How can they overcome it? We'll see if they even can. I don't think they will. It's the Warriors. Yeah, I've said it in the previous podcasts that you should never discount the defending champions, and I think that's especially coming to fruition now.
But Adam Silver's dream might be made, in that he gets a Warriors Lakers playoff series if they both advance.
LeBron versus Steph.
LeBron versus Steph, AD versus Dre, Clay versus Austin Reeves.
Adam Silver's a wet dream, dude.
Adam Silver's dream. Well said.
That's how the money comes in. He knows it. He wants it to happen. Who knows? Maybe he even made De'Aaron Fox break his finger. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that much of a conspiracy theorist, but yeah. Another big injury is that Kawhi's out, but we've already kind of touched on that.
Yeah, Kawhi's house. I mean, Suns are going to win that series.
Yeah,
Suns are
we
going
already
to win
touched on that. What about DeJounte Murray getting suspended?
It don't affect the series.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't affect the series, but it's going to be an interesting offseason for Atlanta. Obviously, there was the report earlier. I can't remember who reported it, but essentially ownership gave the front office of the Atlanta Hawks the green light to trade anybody, and that includes Trae Young. I think I would keep Trae Young, even though I have my mixed opinions about him. I do think that you can build around Trae Young. I don't really like the rest of the roster, and I think they went all in. They traded 2 firsts for DeJounte Murray, and he and Trae Young just have not looked like the backcourt that they hoped. So I think the Atlanta Hawks are a team to keep your eye on this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the past offseason, you had on paper, it looked like it was going to be a perfect trade for them.
I love the move. I was
it was like, wow, holy crap! You're pairing DeJounte and Trae Young. They're both pretty elite talents on offense, and now where Trae Young has been lacking on defense, DeJounte Murray's a much better defender.
Mm-hmm.
But it just hasn't worked out how anyone was thinking, and yeah, sucks. But
no, it does. It does.
What can you do?
No, the Hawks are in a hard situation. I wonder. I mean, I think Quinn Snyder is going to be back next year, and I'm not saying that like they're going to fire him because they obviously just hired him. Yeah. But I mean, they're not going in a rebuild direction. I think that the direction that they go in is a retool, and they try to get better pieces that fit around Trae Young, maybe some better two-way players.
For sure.
But right now, as currently constructed, the Hawks just they're not doing anything. They're not spicy. They're not special.
The Mid-Atlanta Hawks.
They're out in 5, is what they are.
They really are. Yeah, and that suspension is just not something you want to see. Obviously, we've said it doesn't really matter. The Celtics are going to do the Celtics thing. They're going to play their ball. It doesn't. DeJounte Murray's not going to change that path. But I mean, you can't be saying what he says, but bumping into the ref.
What did he say? What did he say?
Ignored. I know it was not. I'm pretty sure it wasn't related to basketball, and it was just slanderous talk because of the ref missing what he thought was a foul. But you just can't be doing that, man.
I'll say this.
You can show. Okay, go ahead.
I think Adam Silver has done a phenomenal job as of late. Me and you are 2 guys who are high on Adam Silver. Some people in our group chat are not.
They are not.
I think that this year was kind of a turnaround. Obviously, the play-in was a huge success. The first round of the playoffs has looked very good, but I'm not a fan of the suspensions. I think the first one, the Draymond one, horrible suspension.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
You want to eject him out of the game. I was fine with that. I actually agreed with it. But to suspend him, I thought was excessive. I thought it was suspending him for something that he did 7 years ago.
I mean, yeah, if you're going to suspend him, why wouldn't you suspend Sabonis too, right? Like that's how I'm fucking thinking of it.
Well, they said that the reason was for his history.
Suspended for something he did 7 years ago.
That's somewhat true. I mean, he punched Jordan Poole before the season. He punched Jordan Poole. I mean, that man just has disciplinary problems. I mean, he came back after suspension in Game 4 and got a tech in like the first minute.
I mean, yeah, he's a notorious hothead.
Things. But like for the refs, like Luka literally did the money sign like this to ref and didn't get suspended. We've seen what was the other altercation with Pat Bev showing the ref you remember when Jason Tatum
I haven't laughed so hard at something in basketball.
And then Pat Bev brings out a video camera and shows the ref. Like that, I've never seen that done before.
That whole sequence was hilarious. Like, I mean, obviously it sucks LeBron got fouled. I mean, there's no question he got fouled, but his reaction
Oh,
That
okay,
that was hilarious, and then the cherry on top was Pat Bev bringing out a camera.
no, the Pat Bev thing was so funny. It was so
It
out of
really
pocket.
was.
But
It,
like I mean, Pat Bev got fined, Luca got fined, but they never got suspended. So what's the difference for DeJounte? Is it that he made contact with the ref?
I don't know. Maybe it's. I mean, it probably is contact with the ref. That probably is what pushed it over. Because I mean, you look at that. Pat Bev and Luca didn't make contact with it, but they obviously had some words for him or some
Oh,
gestures. But then I think
mhm,
you add that contact on top of what Dejounte said, and
mhm.
I that's probably what did it.
I know that this is an irrelevant thing to talk about because they won Game 4 without Joel Embiid. But if we're talking about suspensions, how the hell did Joel Embiid not get
Oh
suspended? I
my
know, I
god!
know he missed the game anyway because I think it was like a sprain. It was either a sprained left or right knee.
Yeah,
But I don't know how he didn't get suspended.
that blows my mind how he didn't get suspended.
No, I
I
agree.
mean,
Or
he
even ejected from the game.
yeah, you only got a flagrant one. You
Or
I mean, you made a clear and concerted effort to kick Claxton in the nuts.
mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you not get ejected for that? Suspended for that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Jamal Murray did the same thing too a couple seasons ago, playing the Mavericks. I forget who he hit in the nuts, but he very clearly went for it and got ejected right away. It's so bad. I don't understand. It's just the inconsistencies is what I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Especially with like back to the Dylan Brooks thing. Like Dylan Brooks was like an arm, and you could like it was much less force than a kick. One and two, you can argue that that's a basketball play at the end of the day. Joel Embiid being on the ground, kicking his legs up at a man's groin is not a basketball play in any shape or form.
No. I mean, the definition of a flagrant two foul is that there's wind up and intent. Like, what? How are you not seeing that? Like, he very clearly went for a kick in the nuts. Uh,
I agree. I agree.
it's bad. It's inconsistent. Stick to you have the rules for a reason, right? Just
Hmm.
stick to that.
But that was the first time Joel Embiid ever got a sweep. They swept the Brooklyn Nets, and now they're getting ready for the winner of Celtics Hawks, who we anticipate. I think the majority of the population anticipates will be the Boston Celtics. Who would you take in that series?
Celtics for sure. The Celtics own the Sixers. It's history. History repeats itself. Yeah, I mean, there's just no question there for me. I'd probably
I
take
agree.
Celtics in 6.
I agree. Um, Celtics just have the front court depth. They have the wings with their two-way ability. They have the better players, I would say. I mean, especially
Oh
because
no, I would say they have the better players.
Doc Rivers has said that Joel Embiid is like 50% on his legs. Like if he's gonna play, he's gonna be hobbling, and Joel Embiid is gonna play, so he's gonna be hobbling. So I
Yeah,
take Jason Tatum, I take Jaylen Brown, um, especially with how Joel Embiid has struggled against the Celtics playoff wise. I know this year he had the 50-point game and he did his thing, but it's like Joel Embiid has to play like Shaq dominance wise for them to have a chance in the series. And if he's
for
doing that,
sure.
if he's 50% like Doc is saying, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, one thing I will say is I know Debo apologized to Danny. I like to apologize to all the Sixers fans. I thought that was going to be a closer series than it was. I was very clearly wrong. So I'll say my apologies for that.
What was your prediction? I forgot.
I said Sixers in 6 or 7. I don't know. I was thinking that it was going to be I thought this thing was be a little closer than it was. And not to say my predictions were entirely wrong for why. I was thinking Claxton was gonna do a good job handling Embiid, which he did do. I think I saw a stat that Embiid only made 18 shots the entire series.
No, it was the Tyrese Maxey show this series.
That's what I'm saying. So that's
The
just
Tyrese
something
Maxey show.
I didn't. That was unprecedented for me. But
Yeah,
yeah, just apologize to the Sixers fans. They're better than I thought.
James Harden. James Harden had a rough first round too, which is not looking good for the Sixers because he notoriously has been an underwhelming playoff performer, and that's in the second and third round. So if he's doing it in the first round, That's worrisome.
Yikes. For sure.
I was thinking this. I was talking to Danny about this today. I would have had every first round prediction right, at least like the way we're looking at it today, from what we're
Yeah.
looking at it today, because Bucks Heat would have taken the Bucks if I was here. Celtics Hawks would have taken the Celtics. Sixers Nets obviously would have taken this the 76ers. And then we know I would have taken my Knicks in the Cavs series.
Of course.
And if we go out west, I would have taken the Nuggets. We know how high I am on the Lakers, maybe to annoy some people. So I would have taken Lakers over Grizzlies.
I think Lakers are going to beat the Grizzlies.
I do too. Warriors, I said I had Warriors in 6, and then I would have taken the Suns. So right now, if I was on some debates, I'd look like the smartest man on the planet.
That's
but
funny.
Of course, the one episode I had to miss was the one where I was going to be showing my ass.
Yeah, well, what can you do, right? I mean, I think, dude, I don't know about this Bucks Heat series though.
No, Bucks are going to win this, bro.
You think so?
Right now, the score is 101-102 with 3 minutes left in the fourth.
Dude, so, it's closer than people have been anticipating. I mean, I said the Bucks would sweep.
But Giannis has been out for 3 games,
for sure.
Essentially.
For all 3, the Bucks played extremely well that one game without him.
How much do you think Jimmy has right now?
38.
44.
Oh my God. Giannis all over that.
Giannis has I mean, Brook Lopez is doing the scoring right now. He has 31.
What an animal.
3 of 6 from 3.
All right. I think we should wrap up this episode congratulating Lauri Markkanen on the most improved player.
Well deserved. I'm happy that.
I mean, you had a 10-point per game jump. That's worthy of a most improved player in my opinion. If that's not most improved player, I don't know what is. Especially, I mean, he went from. He was starting on the Cavs last year, but like he was not anywhere near their primary scorer, right? And now he went to the Jazz and was easily their one option. I mean, he turned into like a god for the Jazz. I mean, you see him shooting. He's shooting the ball extremely efficiently for a 7-footer, for anyone for that matter. And then you catch him cutting. I mean, he's been some nasty posters too.
For sure.
He's an effective finisher, and then with the fact you have to respect the 3-point shooting. Whew, what a player!
Yeah, no, I'm happy that the NBA did this. Obviously, last season they went to this. They gave it to John Morant, where they kind of did like, oh, this high draft pick. He had all this potential. He was an all-star, but now he took the superstar jump. So we're gonna give him most improved. And
yeah, it's kind of
I don't know. It never felt right to me because it's like he's a high pick. He always had this potential. Like this was, I don't want to say superstar should be any player's career projection, but like this was his projection. But with a guy like Lowry, he's had a roller coaster. He's gone. He was drafted 7th or 8th or 6th overall to the Bulls. Got traded to the Cavs. On the Cavs, he just looked like a role player. And now he has an explosion where he was starting in an all-star game, which I genuinely don't think any Jazz fans, any NBA fans in their wildest dreams could have predicted. So I'm really happy that they gave it to him. I think my boy Jalen Brunson was 2nd, which was well-deserved, and Shea was 3rd. So well-deserved to those guys, but Lowry deserved it.
I think I would have been very upset if Lowry didn't get it.
No, yeah, he was the clear cut. He was the clear cut favorite.
Yeah, he's hooping, and it really is something you like to see, especially if you're a Utah fan. It's just a glimmer of hope, right? They traded away everyone, and now they got this player for. I mean, how he's playing right now, they underpaid for him, which is great for the Jazz organization.
They underpaid. I mean, they gave him Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean,
but they got a lot in return. Though.
Yeah. I'll say they got a good package because they got Lowry. They got, I think it was like 2 picks plus a swap, and then they got Lowry, who obviously has turned into an all-star, reached sensational highs with this Utah roster, and then you also got Ochai Agbaji, who was the 13th or 14th overall pick that the Cavaliers initially selected and then traded, and he looked like a promising rookie.
For
So,
sure.
I mean, the Jazz got a good piece in their rebuild. Did you see the one quote about the GM who was like, I think we're going to look back on this season and regret not tanking because of how good Wemby is? I think that was Danny Ainge in the Utah Jazz, but either way, Lowry was going to get his.
You know, underpay, that's a bad word, but I think it's coming from more of a sense of like if Lowry was playing how he is for the Jazz with the Cavs, there's no way that deal would have happened. So I think the Jazz just got really lucky with what they did give up for him, and like what they got in return was great, more than they were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So you just love it for the franchise.
Yeah, and now the Jazz have like a clear direction where they get whoever they'll get in this draft. They have Walker Kessler, who looked like one of the best rookies this season, great defensive center.
What a defender!
Larry Markin, who can be a franchise cornerstone now, and then whatever young development or whatever young picks you get from the Cleveland picks, and then the boatload of picks from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah. They even had Russell Westbrook for a bit.
They did. Bought him out pretty quickly, though.
Yeah.
Bought him out pretty quickly. Who you got tonight for this late game before we get out of here? Warriors, Lakers. Lakers up 2-1 on the series. Game 4 at
Memphis Lakers.
Arena. Yeah.
I'm taking the Lakers.
I agree.
I am taking the Lakers, man.
I agree.
They just have looked better. They've simply looked better. I mean, even on a night where Ja drops 45, it just wasn't enough.
No, I'll take the Grizzlies. I got 35 piece coming in from Dillon Brooks. Just one of the great good people in the league. Dillon Brooks. I just think karma's on his side right now, so I think I'll have a great game.
Just wait till you post that on a reel and everyone's like, "Oh, is this? I can't believe this man is serious right now."
Bro,
like they were flaming Danny, bro.
Did you see that?
Dude, I was laughing so bro, how could you not tell he was being sarcastic? Like, bro, I don't even think you need to know Danny like that to be able to tell he was being sarcastic.
No. But I told Danny this. I told Danny it's because he had his camera off. People can see the face gestures.
No, he had it on.
Oh, he did?
If you watch the reel, it cuts to he's like, Dillon Brooks. But it's like, I can't believe how many people just didn't catch on that was sarcasm.
No, I remember reading the comments and people.
Dude, I was reading the comments and just laughing. If there was anything or anyone that should have been taking the heat, it should have been me. Because I said a highly controversial take. But nah, Danny joking around saying Dillon Brooks got every last bit of it. That was hilarious, man.
You escaped.
I did.
You escaped.
But I still stand by it.
But speaking about the comments, shout out to the fans. Shout out to you guys.
That's right.
You guys have been a lot more active on basically all of the platforms. I mean, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they're all going crazy. So shout out to you guys. So keep up the love and support, and we'll keep making the content.
That's right.
I think
anything else to say? Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end.
All right. That was a fun one. More spontaneous and random. But that's how we do things over here.
Facts. We like to keep you on your toes.
That's right. Talk about the things that may not be being said.
I agree.
On mainstream media, at least. The things that could be more fun to talk about.
Sports without the cap.
That's right. The lunchroom debates, man. That's how it is. All right. I think that's a wrap.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Make sure to follow all the socials at Lunchroom Debates. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. And that's it. All right. Peace out.
Lovely. Peace.